All right. Welcome, REI Marketing Weekly subscribers. I've got an exciting episode for you today. This is going to be so fantastic. I'm super pumped to have my good buddy Dave Payerchin on the line here out of Columbus, Ohio. Dave, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here, and I'm not here to waste your listeners or subscribers' time. I'm going to bring the best value I possibly can. We are absolutely crushing it in Columbus. I don't want to hold back at all, and I want your listeners to get as much value as possible. That's what I'm about.
Dude, we're about to rock and roll. I'm excited about this, guys. So first of all, forgive me, you guys, if I sound horrible. I've been fighting a sinus infection. I'm congested too, but sinus infection. So we're going to hand the mic over to Dave like almost the entire time. So you guys are going to get a straight value out of this episode, and that's what we want to do. So I told you guys, when we're doing this interview here for the newsletter, that I always want to get somebody on here that's crushing it in a specific area of marketing. There is one component that Dave's doing that he's going to chat about, but he's going to expound a little bit more on different areas as well. But the first thing is Google My Business. So this is really something that I haven't even fully utilized until Dave told me about it. He's like, dude, are you using this? And I said, nope. So I have been posting on there, posting some content. I've been trying to load up some reviews and all that good stuff. But those of you who know, I mean, like if you're in any marketing, like if you're doing any marketing in your business at all, you know how powerful Google is. And it could either be your friend or your enemy. And Google My Business is a big portion of that search engine that's going to be pulling up when people go to search, sell my house Columbus or search sell my house Chicago or wherever you're at. So Dave's going to talk about that. He's also going to be talking about building a brand, which is extremely important. You guys know, I mean, I talk about branding all the time. Building a brand, especially going deep into your market and just focusing in and going as deep as you can is highly important as well. So Dave, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to hand the mic over to you. Just nothing but straight value, but do me a quick favor. Just really quick, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then just jump right on into it.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for having me, Josh. My name is Dave Payerchin. My business partner is RJ Pepino. We're in the Columbus, Ohio market. I am from Cleveland originally, and right after high school, I didn't go to college. I moved out west. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and I jumped right into construction. I wanted to get a second job, so I started telemarketing in the night. You didn't even know my story, I bet.
No.
So check it out, man. I was just a young, 18-year-old, and I was doing construction during the day, but I wanted to make money and be successful. So I got a night job, and that was at MCI WorldCom, selling long distance to people, getting them to switch their long distance from AT&T to MCI. So I started as, a little telemarketer, and I rose to the top 10% in the entire sales floor, hundreds of people, actually top 10% of the whole company, the whole region, just like telemarketing sales was my thing. And I just was done with construction at that point. I am a phone sales guy way back in the day. And then in 2005, I started reading books about real estate. So I started driving around and finding vacant properties and started wholesaling. So I was 23 years old. I made 180 G's my first year in business. And I thought I was the bee's knees. I'm still working out my own ego problems. That hasn't gone away, but I got humbled really, really quick because I used that money and I bought fancy cars and houses I shouldn't have bought. And I ended up losing everything back in 2007, completely crushed, bankrupt, back on taxes, tax liens against me. I had to do a deposition with the IRS when I was like 25 years old. How many 25-year-olds have to, I've been through it, man. And I rebuilt it back up. So I went through all that stuff. And here's the one thing I like to say. I went through a lot of financial hard times. I've never not paid back one of my private money lenders. Every single dollar that I've ever borrowed, I've borrowed tens of millions of dollars, private loans. And we're going to get into some private lending stuff here today. I have never not paid back a private money lender, and that's something I'm proud of. But hey, stuff happens in life and real estate, and going through what I went through, I realized I wanted to be in the cash flow business. So some years passed. I moved to California, did some other things, and this, that, and the other. In 2012, my business partner, RJ Pepino, and I started buying rental properties here in Columbus. 2013, I moved back to Ohio here in Columbus full time. We have been, buying houses. We started our flipping company by buying houses, fixing them up, getting them rented out, and then selling them as turnkey properties to people in California. We were the first people doing turnkey in Columbus. It's everywhere now. It's all over the place. I want to be very clear about this.
You made it popular.
No one, what's that?
You made it popular.
Brother, nobody, and you know what? The turnkey garbage that's on the street in Columbus right now is not even turnkey. We did this. We built it right. In fact, I'm wearing a Columbus turnkey shirt right now.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, we started flipping turnkey properties in 2013. That forced us to become good property managers and construction guys. And now we're all about buying whole portfolio. We still do some wholesaling, but we do it the right way. I actually am interviewing the superintendent of real estate for Ohio tomorrow, all about this topic. But we got a lot of private capital raised, man, and we're out there making offers. My Instagram handle is @TheRealDaveP. And you'll notice on there, I'm the self-proclaimed #1 single-family off-market acquisitions person in the entire USA. And I encourage any of your listeners, if they would like to do a fun competition for charity, I'm happy to go toe-to-toe. I will put $10,000 on the line. And if any of your listeners want to put 10 grand on the line, we will both sit here with a stack of for sale by owners, and we will pound the phones, and we will see who creates more equity, who structures more deals, who gets more testimonials. This is my thing. We'll give all the money to charity, and then it's just going to lead to us doing more real estate deals. I'm happy to do that, something I put out there. But that's my story, and I want to add as much value as I can, and I'm going to share some things today that are really working well in our business. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's jump in, man.
Before we go ahead.
Let's jump in.
All right, I'm going to take over the share, okay?
All yours.
Sweet. All right. So first things first, I want to get into this stuff. You got to build. It's better. So for your listeners, be the big fish in a small pond, rather than being, scaling too quickly and spreading yourself too thin. We like to go deep, and what you want to do is, let me just buzz through my slides here. Get a website. If you don't have a website, get one. Have Investor Carrot do one for you. Don't get an out of the box one. Or Josh, you design websites, don't you?
Yeah, I've got service providers that help with that. Yeah.
Do that. I use them, but here's what you want. You don't want an out of the box deal. You need to have a relationship. Somebody like, I'm buds with Trevor over there. Work with Josh. You got people. Make sure it's custom though, because Google recognizes if it's not out of the box. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So whatever entity that you are doing business out of, if you've got an S corp for flipping or an LLC, whatever you do, don't get bogged down too much with that stuff. Don't worry too much about what you're going to name your business, because whatever you do, get a DBA, doing business as. It's a couple $100, but do the DBA as keywords for your business. So ours is just that: Sell House Columbus. So it's very intentional in what we do, for the simple reason, when people search Sell House Columbus, we want to be #1. We are #1 a lot of the times. And we invested $0 in SEO and PPC. This is 100% organic. You can do it too, and this is how you do it. So get yourself a DBA, name it Sell House, whatever. And if you're in a big city like Houston, or a monster city like that, even segment your marketing down to certain areas of that city as far as where you buy, like certain neighborhoods, keywords that only locals would know and stuff like that. Dominate, be the big fish in a small pond. Then set yourself up a Google account, and set this Google account up just for your house buying business. And here's the little icon, Google My Business. We're going to come back to this stuff. Create a YouTube channel just for your sell house, whatever you're doing. And then every time you buy a house, anytime you help anyone with real estate, get a video testimonial from them. And I'm going to show you what we do with our testimonials. There's 3 easy questions. Everyone you work with, say, hey, how'd you find out about me or us? And what was your experience like working with us? And what would you say to somebody who needs to sell fast? Every single testimonial is going to be the same. How'd you find out about us? Oh, I got a postcard, found you online. We're getting a lot more found you online because of what we're doing here. And what was your experience like working with us? They got a check in their hand. What do you think they're going to say? It was great, of course. And then what would you say to somebody who needs to sell fast? Call you. They say the same thing. Oh, well, thank you. So we have loads and loads of testimonials, and we're going to show you. And Josh, you actually touch on this big time. And I went to your webinar. I paid for your webinar, and it was a great webinar. And I encourage everybody to do that. It's $100. But what you talk about is exactly what we do. We take this one piece of content and turn it into a whole bunch of content. And I'm going to show you what we do. So first things first, whenever you're uploading your stuff into YouTube, make sure it's hyperlinked. So you've got to put your website, sellhousecolumbus.com, right off the bat. Google recognizes what, that this website is backlinked. Always be putting your website there, and then separate. Use the little separator. If you hit shift and then the stroke above the enter key, separate it, and Google picks this up as like, okay, that's a definitive thing. Here's like a new sentence, and this is just stuff that some SEO guys taught me back in the day, and it really works. You got to be pumping it out consistently, though. You might be thinking, oh, well, I don't have enough content to do something like this. Well, guess what? We're going to show you one video. It doesn't even need to be you with a seller. It could be you walking through a house. It could be you doing anything. Just keyword the heck out of it, and then use that one thing to create a lot more content. And so you're going to want to keep it local. You don't want to be we buy houses, because that's too general. Everything you see with our tags is Columbus, as you can see, because that's our market. And then
real quick, Dave, if I could jump in. So you guys need to understand how important YouTube is to search engines nowadays. I mean, it's the #2 search engine platform on the planet next to Google. And guess what? It's owned by Google. So doing everything that Dave is saying here, especially with the, you can generalize keywords. You could say sell my house or we buy houses or whatever, but the more specific that you get, the better results that you're going to get from the search, from the SEO. So that's important to understand, but utilizing YouTube and building out the complete backend, like what he's saying exactly. So linking your website and typing in a great title, great description, filling in all those tags. That's all going to be extremely vital to the actual search engine performance that you're going to get. So make sure that you're doing that. And I'm glad you're hitting on this, because that you guys really don't understand how important this is and how big of an impact it takes to generally ranking you when it comes to Google and somebody searches sell my house Columbus. So great stuff. Yeah.
Be specific is going to be key. And then we have a VA do a lot of our posting and stuff like that. If you're just getting started, just do it yourself. But what I wanted to note is, like, jump in there and write yourself a whole bunch of keyword driven descriptions for your VA. So it is your words, but just like keep a Google Doc and just write out a whole bunch of them. And make sure if your VA is doing it, they do not copy and paste, because Google knows if you're copy and pasting. They want authentic. And then also make sure you put a phone number. They know if you have a phone number, and they know if it's the same phone number that's attached to your website. So we're at a point right now, Josh, and I'm going to show you emails that Google sends me. They're like, way to go. You got new views. They're communicating with me now because they know I'm real, and they know I'm pumping out content, and they're happy. So they message me now, like, I'm going to show you. So write out a whole bunch of, if you're not going to do this yourself or have a VA do it, write it all out, but just make sure your VA does not just copy and paste your words. Make sure they sit there and write it all out. And this is really important. This is the secret trick. And I'm going to show you how we do this. So I got a new testimonial here for you in real time here, Josh. What I'm going to do is, so I'll have my acquisitions guy get a testimonial, or somebody from the title company, and they will upload it into Dropbox, and I'm going to download it, direct download, and I will keep going here while that downloads. But what we're going to do is I'm going to save this thing to my desktop, but I'm not going to look, what is it going to be called? It's going to be called, you know, some crazy code, you know? So I got to rename this full of keywords, We Buy Houses, Columbus, Ohio, yada, yada, yada. And then I am going to upload it into my YouTube channel after I have renamed it, because Google knows what a file was named. Of course it knows. So if it's named keywords, it picks up on that. It's a little trick.
Now, Dave, do you do this with your thumbnails too when you're uploading them?
You better believe it.
Awesome.
Everything we do, everything is named keywords. And when we update stuff or put stuff into Google My Business, we're not doing too much with social media at the moment, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, once this video has been downloaded, watch the video and just screenshot it. It's so easy to screenshot stuff from your phone and just screenshot it when they're smiling. That's what you do. In fact, I just did a really fun one yesterday. I think you liked it, my pick. You know, and this just came from the video that I am getting ready to upload into YouTube. This is, you know, in real time. But yesterday, you can see the video I just got is, I screenshotted it, and there he is. This is the guy we're about to do. But it starts with a screenshot. And how about a few likes for our buddy Earl? Look at the smile on his face.
Yeah,
we
so
closed
happy.
quickly and paid him cash for his house. He didn't even have to leave the comfort of his favorite chair. I just think this is so funny, man. Like, but anyway, here's our video. Let me go ahead and so here's the download. I drag it over to my desktop. And now I'm going to rename it, you know, We Buy Houses, Columbus, Ohio. And you get the idea, everybody. So we don't need to elaborate on that, but make sure you are, number one, renaming it, tag the heck out of it, make it local, screenshot it, and now use your JPEGs. We're not doing too much right now. I shut down my Sell House Columbus Facebook because all the people we send mail to thought it was a good place to go to and say, take me off your list. Yep. And that was just lowering our rankings. So we do have an Instagram. You can follow us, but we don't get a ton of followers. I'm just not that into it. Our target customer for motivated sellers is not on Instagram, are they, John?
Nope. No, and that's not the branding that you're working on is not something where you're building an audience. You know, you're not going to have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube that are like, hey, I want to watch videos about selling my house. You know, it's more of a transactional type relationship that's going on, obviously. So
it's transactional, and I want to touch on that. And this is a great segue. But everybody, get all the content in the world. You know, here's us. We spoke at a local RIA. You know, content. Get it, name it. You know, just keyword the heck out of it. Make it authentic. You can't just name a picture. You know, like when you're posting on Google My Business, like just name it a bunch of keywords, because Google will know that it's not a conversational piece. Yeah. They're going to know it's just a bunch of keywords. So keep it authentic is really what Google looks for. But let me just go ahead and pull up my Google My Business page. Check this out, dude. I don't even think I showed you this when we were talking on the phone the other day. But we, number of views this week, 20. But we're posting every single day. 19 hours ago, here's a JPEG. Look, here's a different video that we had a JPEG, put our logo on it, and just quote the guy from the video. And then, you know, here's me and RJ, we're hanging out. We're always just posting. Hey, I teach a little class here. I use every opportunity I possibly can to, you know, just get credibility online. Yeah. That's what's working really well. And then, so check it out. We take it to the next level where, I just want to show you this real quick. We take all the JPEGs then, and we turn them into More videos, folks. This is all we're doing. And it's all done by VAs. So funny, right?
Anything that's got Van Halen is gonna rock.
That's
out,
what I'm
man.
talking about. And you know what? That music is very well thought out too. What we realize is our target customer is somebody between the ages of 40 and 70. So we pulled up all of the top rock and roll hits of when our target motivated seller would have been graduating high school. And we do all songs are chosen because statistically they say people's greatest memories of feeling good are their senior year graduating high school is a monumental thing. And so we try to bring them back to that state. It's almost like Vegas does. You know, Vegas tries to get you with scents and things like that. But yeah, so we take videos with testimonials, upload those, use JPEGs from those testimonials, then take a whole bunch of JPEGs and different stuff and make more videos and do it all over again. It is just a nonstop machine of content. Questions? You got a question?
No, I'm good, man. This stuff
Okay.
is awesome. Continue
Cool.
on.
So I want to get into some other stuff here, and this is going to be very valuable for your audience because I know there's a lot of wholesalers out there. And check it out, guys. This is going to be a high-level real estate class right now. I'm about to break down for you. You're probably going to want to watch this a few times. This is what I presented at the Collective Genius Mastermind, which is basically the highest level mastermind for real estate investors in the entire country. This comes from years of experience, comes from years of getting my teeth kicked in, comes from years of failing. And I'm going to show you guys why you guys need to be getting cash flow properties. You guys need to be buying and holding. And I want you to listen closely to this, Josh, and your audience. If all you do is wholesale, you're going to be looking for a job at some point, 5 years. So who knows? And check this out, Josh. If all you see, like you nailed it, where real estate and wholesaling is not a business where it's not like an auto shop where the people are going to refer their kids and they're going to keep coming to you year after year. You have this book of business that you can sell. You get a one-time customer and they're done. So it is not a saleable business. So if you're taking your profits from wholesale deals and just reinvesting for more profits, you're using taxable dollars, highly taxed dollars, your profits from wholesale deals to put out there for more profits of highly taxed dollars. It's very expensive and it's basically a bottomless pit. You've got to be buying and holding real estate. And this is what I'm going to show you what we do here. Do you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, and real quick too, something that I hear a lot from more experienced investors is that, if you're wholesaling and that's all you're doing, you're not really a real estate investor.
Thank you.
You're more of a glorified salesperson. And that's going to hurt some people. That's going to, hit them right here in the chest. But it's truth, man. If you're not buying and holding, that you're not really an investor. If you're not lending, if you're not, fix and flipping and, investing in a property in order to rehab it, that kind of thing, you can't really call yourself an investor, a real estate investor. So I think that's huge. And this is going to be, guys, we're kind of veering off of the marketing side of it, but I'm excited that Dave's talking about this because it is going to be influential to keeping your business intact. Like he said, you might be looking for a job in the next several years if all you're doing is wholesaling and using it as just transaction after transaction and just looking for that next deal. So Dave, this is awesome, man. Let's do it.
Check it out. You could get out there, you could do the marketing stuff that we're doing to find all the deals in the world, but we got to help you make money. More importantly, we got to help you keep money. And this is what this is going to be. And the reason we're doing this, I know Josh is a marketing guy, but we looked at the audience and we looked at who is listening to this. It's mostly real estate people. And I wanted to share this stuff just to help out. And I wish people would have shared this stuff with me back in 2005 when I was going bankrupt because all I knew how to do was wholesale. And then I got smacked in the face with a big tax bill. And I got destroyed, man. So you've got to get cash flow. So the name of this presentation is how to get 3.5% money for rentals, increase your cash flow, and decrease your risk. My intention is to add as much value as possible. If you have questions, save them to the end. Hit me up on Instagram, The Real Dave P. State of the Union. I'm not going to get into this. So here's some just good old-fashioned advice from somebody who is a grizzled veteran who's been through a lot. So hire people to do things for you, but not to think for you. And know your plan and stick to it. Don't hire people and say, oh, we're going to build this system together. Have your systems documented, have your systems in place, and then hire people to do the system that you created. Don't try to create the system and have people think for you and do stuff like that. It's easier to cut costs to increase your cash flow rather than increasing your profits, because profits cost more. You got to pay for these profits to come in, and they're taxed. Cut your costs, live lean, folks. It's not about having big overhead. Keep your overhead low, keep your cash flow high. Building your portfolio, your cash flow, and your wealth is the highest and best use of your time. Absolutely. Build wealth for the long term. It's the only thing that's going to keep you around. Be very well documented. Protect yourself from buyers, sellers, employees, and contractors. That's where the lawsuits come from. Make upfront agreements with everybody, especially, contractors. And RJ, my business partner, can do a whole seminar on that. He runs the construction, and it is a bloodbath out there. Protect yourself out there. Be very well documented. Invest in a good attorney. If you're doing rehabs in property management, especially rehabs, Josh, because rehab contractors are business people, and they have the right to put a lien on your asset. A tenant, generally speaking, probably doesn't have a big bankroll to sue a big real estate company. And if they try, all they could do is maybe, go online and complain. A contractor probably has some money behind them, and it could get ugly. Protect yourself, especially from contractors. Your reputation is the most important thing. Take care of every private lender. That is the ultimate key to success. Without your private lenders, it doesn't matter how bad your credit is. Doesn't matter what happens. Without private money, you are not going to be able to scale this business and do this. Figure out ways to pass as much cost on to other people. Leverage other people. If you do a lot of deals at a title company, what do you need a big fancy office for? Just use their office or conference room. A good use of rent. Don't have a big lease. Stay away from long-term leases on office space, because you don't know what's going to happen in the market. And if you are going to rent something where you can store building materials. This way you could buy it in bulk. It'll pay for itself. It's the only thing you can really control. Don't confuse net with gross. Gross pays the bills. Net pays you only after the bills are paid. Learn to manage your assets yourself before hiring someone else to do it for you.
Hey, Dave, let me jump in real quick. So go back to that previous slide, because I've heard this far too much. I don't know why it's stuck out in my mind, but I love that last point. So don't confuse gross with your net. But I think even further back than that, don't confuse your gross with revenue. I mean, I hear people all the time that are influencers on Instagram and everything, like, oh yeah, I brought in $10 million of revenue last year and that kind of thing. And like, it doesn't matter. Like if you bought a house for $1 million and you sold it for $1,001, $1,001 is your revenue, right? But like, did you make any money? So that's the thing too, to understand. Again, we're just talking in terms here, but I mean, that's important to understand too, is like, just because somebody says they brought in X amount of revenue doesn't mean squat. Like, keep that in mind.
It's funny, as I sit here, I was going to show it to the camera. I don't need to though. I could easily jump on Instagram today and be like, hey, I just, took down whatever, $3 million of real estate, $2 million of real estate. Okay, here's a statement here, folks, for a $650,000 loan that I owe somebody. It's not true, man. I mean, sure, there's cash flow, but there's debt and smart debt, and don't try to be cool. Just be rich and get, just make it happen. It's not about, it's about what you keep, learn to manage your assets before you hire someone else to do it for you. You got to get in there. You got to figure this stuff out. Don't be afraid. You got guys like me in your corner. You got guys like Josh. You've got big, deep networks. If you're committed to this business, you're doing things the right way, we're going to help you. And it's not how many deals you do that matters. It's how much money you make and keep, right? How many people brag? You go to a lot of real estate conferences, Josh. The first question out of everybody's mouth is, how many deals you doing per month? That's how I know you do not get it. It ain't about how many deals you do. It's about how much money you make. I'd rather do one deal and make $100,000 rather than, 20 deals and make $2,000 each, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it. I've been a part of it personally where, bought and sold hundreds of deals and the margins were very, very slim to none, losing money on a lot of them. I mean, like it's a big deal. I mean, focus on the amount of money that you're making, not the amount of deals that you're doing. Cause yeah, I hear the same thing, Dave. How many deals are you doing? Like that's
Like,
like the first thing,
who
that's the first thing
cares
that comes out of people's questions. Cause they
how
think
much
that,
money you make?
yeah, the volume of deals dictates how successful you become. And that's not true at all. Like, no.
Bogus information. Lastly, don't put too many barriers between yourself and the money, especially when it comes to negotiating with sellers. We all want to, scale. Everybody's all about whole scale. Everybody's all about scale, scale, scale. Let me just stick a VA on top of my sellers. Well, folks, that is by far and wide the highest paid work is negotiating. You make your money when you buy. You get paid when you sell or refinance, which I'm going to be talking about doing a lot of cash out, tax-free money. But guys, hey, if it's not all about scaling. Scale out the admin work, scale out the other stuff. But when it comes to the money, that has got to be your business. With institutional financing, consider this, folks. Don't worry about your interest rate. Don't worry about a higher origination fee, and don't worry so much about the LTV that the bank is offering you. Just go for 30 years fixed, no prepayment penalties. Have that flexibility. So what this is saying is consider paying a higher interest rate, even a higher origination fee in exchange for no changes. So you could just stay fixed and you can have options and you can kind of come and go as you please. It's going to make your life easier. Understanding private capital, seller financing, construction, and management are the key components for success, no matter what the market is doing. Understand finance, understand real estate, go back to the fundamentals. Everybody wants to scale up, scale up. Well, folks, you got to learn the basics. We're going back to the basics. So what's your true net on a fix and flip, right? You pay higher in taxes. You got to factor in cost of money. You need a staff. If you're doing a lot of fix and flips, then you need a staff to do it, which is expensive. You got to deal with contractors, which is the easiest way to get sued. You got to pay commissions to somebody else who, when you sell the property. You're wasting time, from your retail buyer, because when your buyer walks through, they're going to have a request a remedy. They're going to pick your thing apart, inspections, and then the construction is the quickest way to lose your butt. You risk break-ins, your time, and managing construction is the lowest ROI if you sell the asset. So if you put all this time and energy into a house and fixing it all up, and then you sell it, your ROI is a finite number, and then you collect that money and then you pay taxes on that money. So this has really been a game changer for us, Josh, is we really only want to be doing rehabbing on stuff that we're going to keep. Because if we're investing our time and risk to, fix a property up and deal with contractors, we better be keeping the asset. This way we can do a cash out refi, you pull tax-free money out, and then you have it as a rental property. Take this to heart, man, because this has come from years of just realizing we waste so much time, energy, and so much risk rehabbing properties for other people. Wholesale, list on the MLS, everything you don't intend to keep. So we still wholesale, we still flip stuff, but if we're managing construction, we're keeping the asset. And if you must fix and flip, have upfront combos with your private lender. Have a plan if you get stuck, okay? And don't take on too big of rehabs, especially if you're new. And don't buy into regentrification. I'm going to buy this old building from 1900 and make it this contemporary living. You're going to get bogged down. Stick to bread and butter real estate, 3-bedroom, 1-bath homes that are going to give you a good rent to value ratio. Keep it simple. Control affordable housing. Don't get fancy. Life is not HGTV. This is the real world. So everybody who's all about, hey, let's scale up. I have a new proposal. How about we scale down? Less overhead. Keep it simple. Keep it small. Keep it all. Replace W-2 employees. Better keep this on the down low because I'm in the office. Replace W-2 employees with VAs. Avoid long-term leases on office space. I already said that if you're considering renting something, consider renting something where you can buy materials and at a discount that'll house that for you. Focus on getting the best terms on money. The only people you have to impress are not your silly little Instagram following. The only people you are here to impress in this real estate business are private lenders and bankers. It is the only people you need to impress. And guess what? The bank could care less about how fancy your office is because you have all this overhead. In fact, the bank is not going to want to do business with you because your numbers are completely out of whack. They want that cash flow. They don't care. They'll meet you at Starbucks. Bankers will meet you anywhere. Folks, don't get blindsided. Not all that glitters is gold. A lot of these businesses you see out there, these big flashy real estate businesses, they're one bad month away from bankruptcy. Yeah. So keep it small, keep it all. Be a marketing sniper. Go after exactly what you want. That's what that's what Josh is talking about. Be a marketing sniper. Go after exactly what will add to your net worth. So check this out. And let me just finish this. Renegotiate your cost of capital. You deserve the best terms on money, especially once you have a track record. But be a sniper. So go after stuff that you know you can make money with. Approach your private lenders about low interest-only rates so payments are low, and then give them 25% of the upside. So don't worry. Focus on today's cash flow. And if you have a private lender who wants 12% on their money, hey, consider giving them 6% of their money, but maybe 25 or even higher percentage of the upside. So you get today's cash flow. They become a partner in the equity of the deal. You're the operator, but don't worry too much. Just focus on today's cash flow being highly profitable today. Build your moat. What I mean is build that protection. Have your expenses covered by cash flow, and then you can begin to take some risks and stuff like that. But until you have that moat, don't even really get involved in things that potentially could cause you harm. Once your moat is built, then you can start getting creative, do more lending. You can do, flip out of your IRA. So real quick, this is cool. My good buddy, Joe Lieber, he taught me and RJ how to start buying houses. And if you're in a small dollar market, see, back in 2014, 15, and 16, we used to buy homes where we would be all in for 25 to 35K in C-class areas, rough areas, and we would pay 9 to 12%, amortized only over mostly 5 years. So that instead of a 30-year mortgage, it's a 5-year mortgage at a high interest rate. Our payments were through the roof. So it was very small cash flow, but we were just chomping away at the debt. We sold some of them. We did bank refi on some of them, and we had 12 left. And this is what we just got done doing. So we had these 12 houses, and the balance on these suckers, because the market has been going up and we've been chomping at these balances, we owed 234 and the total value is 1.1. Our total payment was still high because they're amortizing loans, and our payment was $6,500 a month. So what we did is we took the 5 properties that we have people just that are never going to leave. These properties definitely need deferred maintenance, but the people don't care. They're not going anywhere. We're never going to raise their rent. We're never going to walk a banker through there because we don't want to. I mean, we're just these little 5 people who we have an agreement with them. Not a real agreement, but here's the deal. We're never going to raise their rent because they are paying for everything else. And I'm going to show you how. So these are all properties that we don't want to ever refi. We're basically just going to sit on these properties for life and never raise the rent. Let these people live there for a really good rate, but they don't call us, they don't bug us, and we're not going to be really putting a lot of expenses in as far as fixing these up. So the total balance of these 5 was 158. Total value was 366, and the total payment was 3,300 on these 5 properties. You see the ARV and the balance. So we refied these things these 5 up to 70%. And the new balance now, instead of your 158 balance, now our balance is 256. But instead of being amortizing loans, we put 9% interest only loans. So that drove the payment down. So our new payment now on these 5 was $1,900. So we just increased the cash flow that way, but we also just pulled out $97,000. And folks, we're not pulling this money out to go buy a Lamborghini to look cool on Instagram. We used these to pay off the 5 nicest ones. These are the ones in really nice shape, and we've rehabbed them, and we can walk a banker through there. So now we pulled this cash out to pay off these 7 free and clear. We increased our cash flow over, $4,600 a month, but now we have these 7 properties. They're worth $713K. And now we can march that down to the bank, and banks want to lend to us. So they'll give us 4% money, secured against this portfolio of free and clear real estate. But that's just kind of shows you, in a nutshell, look, you could do a lot with private money, structure your private money deals, do refis. You can increase your interest rate, but still increase your cash flow if you turn it into interest only loans. And, by all means, but I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole, but none of this would be possible without basically having the courage to get out there and start buying, understanding private money, taking care of our lenders. We'll give lenders a piece of the pie if we can make cash flow today. And that's my spiel, man. That's it.
That's awesome. And this is huge too. I mean, I think that just that last portion, the last 3 or 4 slides, kind of giving the exact examples of what Dave's gone through is huge. So guys, take advantage of that. That's something that I know is going around a lot right now, is the whole cash out refi strategy. So take advantage of it. And then kind of summing up the portion before that, I mean, it just boils down for me telling the rest of you guys, keep it simple. I mean, there's 1,000,001 things that you can do in real estate. There's 1,000,001 things you can do investing in general, but keep it simple and figure out what's going to work for you. Once you master 1, maybe 2 things, and move on to the next thing, and then move on to the next thing. But keep mastering specific things one at a time, besides trying to just choke down a bunch of different 100 different strategies to do deals. So that's just, and run your business as well. I mean, he talked about, don't get an office if you don't necessarily need one. I work from, this is my house, my master bedrooms are right next to me. And I, work with real estate investors all the time that have offices, and they're the only ones that are in there. And it's why do you need that? So figure that stuff out. But yeah, man, that's awesome stuff. I appreciate you sharing all that, man. Guys, I didn't even ask Dave to share that. He just went off and did it. And that's awesome. This is a big testament of, who Dave Payerchin really is, and just incredible human being, willing to share something like that to you guys that, just I'm sure provides tons of value to everybody. So Dave, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for sharing the first portion about the Google My Business and figuring all of that out. And then this whole last presentation is huge. I mean, he mentioned he shared that at Collective Genius, which if you guys are in real estate and you haven't heard of Collective Genius, it's probably the top tier real estate mastermind in the country. That was actually the first mastermind I ever went to at 19 years old with Wayne Schaefer and Tom Olson. And man, I got my mind just completely leveled, and it was insane. It was back when it was 60 people. So I love that group. Some awesome people in that group that I know very, very well. So Dave, man, again, I appreciate you jumping on, man. Before I let you go, you need to leave some, I know you mentioned Instagram handle, but do it again. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, contact you, learn more about you, and get to chat with you in general, how can somebody do that?
Totally. Yeah. Instagram is the best way. At the real Dave P. And just hit me up, man. I mean, as soon as I get around to it, I'm definitely willing to help anyone I possibly can, Josh. So at the real Dave P is the best handle.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And then guys, we'll leave a direct link to his Instagram profile below in the description, so you guys can go check that out. You don't have to go type it in Instagram. Just click on that and it'll go right to it. So Dave, man, I appreciate it. I told you I wasn't going to take too long, but I appreciate you taking the time to teach everybody here, to learn us all about some awesome stuff. So appreciate it, man. And I look forward to talking with you again soon.
You got it, brother.
All right, guys, take it easy. Make sure you are checking out the rest of the newsletter. And reach out to me if you have any questions, if you want to contact anybody. And I will see you guys later.